Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Hello everyone, this is Carrie with the Unicorn Company podcast. My cat is looking at me oddly because this is the third video I filmed today. And today we are talking about the new Hansens Roughriders Battle Lance, which has come out from Catalyst Game Labs. Now, first, before I go into this, I do want to thank my sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games. They helped us to get this into our hands, and because of that, we are able to bring this to you. So, Fortress Miniatures and Games, check them out. They are awesome. They carry the Lance packs. They carry Iron Man Metals models. They carry the terrain that you see behind it right here from Death Ray Designs. They are amazing. So let's go into the Force Pack and see what we have going on. First of all, it does come with 4 pilot cards, double-sided, 4 mech cards, double-sided, and then 4 plastic miniatures. So let's start off with the bigger boy, the Atlas. So you get pilot cards for Atharin Orlehi, and he's a 4/4 with Fistfire. And Hembeki Strahan, a 3/4. And they have human TRO, which makes it where they are better at rolling critical hits. And mind you, these cards here are for BattleTech primarily, because they have gunnery and piloting. Then you have the Enforcer with Kanoko Manta, or Manta, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. They have the SPA of Float Like a Butterfly. They're a 4/5. They reroll successful attack or determine critical hit roll where they are the target 4 times per scenario. The second result has to be accepted. So if they're getting hit, they can be like, hey, reroll that. And then you have Daniel Whalen, 3/4 with Weapons Specialist Gauss Rifle. So he is probably a specialist on there's one variant of the Enforcer that has the Gauss, I believe. He has Weapons Specialist Gauss Rifle. Apply a -2 to hit modifier when attacking with the Gauss Rifle. That's terrifying. It's a medium pulse Gauss Rifle. Then you have Matthew Young. Name sounds familiar. And most of these are Kickstarter people, from what I understand. Matthew has the SPAs of Melee Master, can attempt an extra punch, kick, or club attack per physical attack phase, and Street Fighter, where they can conduct physical attacks during the weapon attack phase instead of the physical attack phase. So that's an interesting little thing there. Then you have Sturla Hoopst. They're a 4/4 with Terrain Master Mountaineer, so they subtract 1 MP from all movement costs when moving through gravel, rough, ultra rough, or rubble, ultra rubble hexes, and for any level changes, including cliffs. Apply a -1 to all piloting skills in such terrain. So they're good for rough, broken, rocky terrain. And then you have the last pilot card. This is for the Penetrator. You have Gendios Baramba. They're a 4/3, so they're better pilot than gunner. But they have the special ability of Speed Demon. Add 1 MP to running and 2 MP to sprinting movement, but may not make weapons or physical attacks that turn. Okay. And of course, on the other side, you have Archer Christofori. So we have official stats for Archer Christofori. I don't think we did before. He's a 3/3. One of my favorite people in the entire game. Tactical Genius. Prior to play, select commander for your force. If Christofori is your force commander, you may re-roll your initiative roll once for each turn. The second roll must be accepted, even if it's worse. And then he has Jumping Jack, reduce attacker movement modifier from +3 to +1 when firing after jumping. So this is a pretty awesome little card for a pilot. I have mixed feelings about Archer, but then again, it's not because of the character. That is because of the man who made him. So let's get into the actual stuff, though. Let's get into the models, the bread and butter of this. All right, so first we have, let's start with the Enforcer. So this is the Enforcer. It's a resculpt. If I recall correctly, the guns on the other Enforcer are different. The pose is different, at least on the one that's already out. But this is the new Enforcer. The card you get for it is the Enforcer 5D, which is a 27-pointer, and the 5R, which is a 24-pointer. To be fair, if I had to pick between the two, I would pick the 5R. So this is the 5D. And as you can see there, this is all available on the master unit list. As you can see there, the 5D, it's battle mech size 2, TMM2, movement of 10 inches, jump, skirmisher, 27 points. Has short, medium, and long of 2, no overheat value, 5 armor, 2 structure with case, and flak at 111. All right, it's a pretty decent mech, right? Pop over to the 5R. And the 5R is actually 3 points cheaper, but I feel like it's the better value. Okay, so it's battle mech size 2, TMM 1, movement of 8, jump. Okay, so it doesn't move as fast. People are going to get antsy about that because your TMM's lower. But you know what? It's 221, overheat of 0, armor of 5, structure of 3, with case 2, flak 111, and REL, which I recall correctly is reflective armor. Give me a sec, I will check. Oh no, it's not reflective armor. It should be re-engineered lasers, which, taking a look right now, those negate the abilities of reflective armor, if I recall correctly. Rear firing. It's probably in, of course. Yeah, re-engineered lasers. So it totally ignores the RFA special ability. Also, with this ability, if you know with this ability successfully attacks a unit that features the crit resistance special, replace the target's normal -2 with a -1. So you still can't score a head hit on crit resistant, but makes it far more effective against it, and more like what the normal curve is. So that is the Enforcer miniature. Also, one of the reasons I wanted to bring the Enforcer in first is because of this. Okay, I don't know if you can see it right now, but let me do this. Now, my friend Justin over at the Arn Painter pointed out that he had heard in one of the Reddits, or not Reddits, Discords, that people did not like the fact that some of the mechs point toward the corner. And he pointed out a lot of times this is due to a torso twist. Here's the thing. That's not torso twisting. It's directly walking towards the corner of the base, torso and legs aligned. Catalyst, I love these models, but please stop pointing them to the corner of the base. They should be facing to one of the sides of the bases, either through torso twist or just walking in that direction with the whole mech aligned that way. So, unfortunately, one of the things I'm going to have to do to this Enforcer before I even look at painting it up is I am going to have to take it either off the base, or I'm going to have to cut the torso and turn it so it's facing either that way or that way. Other than that, good model. I do like the details on it are nice and crisp. I like the sculpt. So yeah, next up we'll look at the Atlas. The Atlas is more or less pointing in the direction you want it to be pointing. Thank God. So this is the new sculpt of the Atlas. As you can see, it's a variant on the Atlas. I think we have 3 Atlas sculpts now between the Alpha Strike box, the Force packs, and this Force pack. So yeah, there should be three Atlas variants at this point. Given enough time, we will have the entire Steiner Scout Lance as seen on certain other things. So, looking at the Atlas, let's grab the card for this mech. This is the big nasty chonky one. Now we have, this card is for the Atlas 7D, the AS7D, and the C2, which, good lord. Okay. So starting with the 7D, which is going to be your standard Inner Sphere Atlas, type battle mech, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6, Juggernaut, has a point value of 52. Hits at 5.52 for short, medium, and long. No overheat value. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10 armor, 8 structure, with AC 2-2, indirect fire 1, L arm of 1-1-1, and rear of 1-1. 52 points. It's not a bad mech. One of the things you'll notice, though, is you're missing case. So an ammo explosion will drop this mech like a bad habit. Now, I just dropped the card. For the exact same point value, you can have the Atlas C2. If you're going into if you're using this as a competition unit, this is the one you go with. Because the C2 is effectively the same mech, but better. All right, so the Atlas C2 is 52 points, same as this one, but you're not paying for the toolbox abilities. So the C2 has battle mech, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6, Juggernaut. Like I said, it's 52 points. Hits harder at 6.64. Overheat of 2. So this sucker can be cranked up to an 8.8 at short, medium range. Always useful. You don't usually want to do that, though, because then your movement drops by 2 inches, I believe, or something like that. And then you'd be a 4-inch with no TMM. Armor and structure, I believe, are the same. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. 10 armor, 8 structure. This one has case. An ammo explosion will not drop it. And it has flak 1-1-0. So you are looking at effectively the same mech performance-wise with better weapons, more longevity, and not as many tools, which you don't need to have the toolbox for the Atlas. At least when you go into competitive events, there's 2 ways to look at them. One of them is through the scope of what kind of shenanigans can you pull, and the other one is through the scope of what works. And as much as it trivializes many of the abilities in BattleTech, if you take a mech and just crank it down to the bare minimum of what it needs to be able to do, that's going to be your competitive model. And in this case, that is the Atlas C2. Which is a good thing for me to remember for the future because it's a beautiful model. Now, looking at it, like I said, it looks good. The hip launcher, the missiles never seem well defined enough. I don't see anything egregiously wrong with it as far as mold lines or anything. I'm sure they're there. I'm just not like picking it up and getting close to my eyeballs right now. But overall, as far as models go, this is a good, crisp, clean model. Highly recommend this. If you're looking for another Atlas, there you go. So next up, we have the Hatchetmen. The Hatchetmen. The two variants you get here, the 60 and the 8S. And of course, this is the model that, like, the big gimmick for these force packs is that they have one that jumps. This is the model that jumps in this force pack. So, here it is in its standard not leaping through the air form. As you can see, this one is the rotary autocannon one in the chest. I do like the fact that the hatchet is down and not up in the air. You can get all the way around the cockpit. So standing, this pose is more than adequate. I like the pose when it's standing. I don't like the jumping pose. Let's pop this off the base. Pop the little plume has the holes. The base has the pegs, and of course, holes. So let's throw this onto the base, if I can get it on the base. Am I doing that wrong? There we go. And then we pop the little pegs into the legs off the plumes, and the legs will sit right in the plumes, kind of, thus giving us this. Yay, look, it's jumping. Okay, but here's my thing with this little jumping machine. Look at the way the legs are positioned. There's no fluid movement to it, and they totally could have done something fluid with the legs that would have worked when it was standing and when it was jumping. They've done this to some of the other models. Some of the other models that I've seen look better jumping than they do standing. This one, on the other hand, I feel like looks better standing than jumping. Of course, your mileage may vary. You may find you like it better jumping. Which, if you do, awesome. Kudos to you. So this is the jumping model out of it. This is the Hatchetmen. You get the 8S and you get the 6D. They are 1 point different, with the 6D being more expensive. We'll start with the 8S. 8S is 31 points. Tight battle mech, size 2, TMM2, 10 jump, striker, short, medium of 3, long of 1, no overheat, armor of 5, structure of 2. With case, flak 111, and melee. Case, in this case, no puns intended there, is useless. Okay, so in campaign play, yeah, it comes in handy. But in tournament play, luckily they don't. Having talked with some people, case is not costed, as far as what I've been told. And speaking with some of the people from that work on this stuff, case is not costed if you have 2 structure, because of the fact that it actually does nothing, because you take an additional crit. So then we have over here the 6D, which comes in at 1 point more. Battle mech, size 2, TMM2, movement 10J, skirmisher, 32 points, 330, no overheat, armor 5, structure 2, ECM and melee. Tournament play, this is my go-to. If I have to pick one, this is the one I'm picking. So, and finally, we have the Bad Mamma Jamma, the Penetrator. That's right. This is Arch Christopher's ride. This is one that I really like a lot, and this is one that I think is... I don't know. Okay, so here's what's going on with the Penetrator. The Penetrator, it is a beautiful mech. I love this mech. I don't know if I care for this sculpt. I said when they came out with the previews, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to see how this looks when it gets to me, right? All right, so I got it, and I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not. It's not like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is. They made some changes. I don't care for it. Like I liked the bubble cockpit. Um, this one has this weird, like, multi-paneled. It's not a bird cage. I don't know how to describe it. So it's got this odd multi-paneled cockpit. The legs obviously are an improvement. I'm not going to lie. But the torso, I feel like it's a bit deeper than it should be. Like, here's the overhead view of the torso. It's a lot deeper than the original penetrators. And supposedly it's volumetric. This doesn't feel very volumetric to me. I don't know how else to put that. Not much to say there. Okay, otherwise, though, the model itself, it's a good model. Most of the details are good, crisp, clear. The back end, you have all the jump jets, and everything is crisply, nicely molded in. Nothing really egregiously bad. I did remove one mold line from this laser, and as you can see, the plastic does not like to scrape well. It doesn't like to. It's a very finicky plastic. You have the anti-missile system there. Overall, it's a good model. It's decent. It's not bad, but at the same time, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they sort of missed the proportions on it a little bit. So yeah, there is that. So I am only going to go over one of these because they are identical. If you want to know why they're identical in Alpha Strike, it's because of how the mathematics work. One has pulse lasers, one has a targeting computer. Otherwise, they are the same mech. That would be the Penetrator 6T is the one we're going to use. This is the targeting computer version, but the other version, the 4D, is identical to the 6T. 6T is just a later version of it. It's type battle mech, size 3, TMM1, movement of 8 jump, skirmisher, short medium of 3, long of 2, overheat of 3, with armor 7, structure 3, and anti-missile system. No case, which means it can get blown up on an ammo explosion. 39 points, and stat line is identical for its cousin here. So what that means is that if you wanted to go to, let's say, I don't know, an event where you can only have, excuse me, a little stuffy today. If you want to go to an event where you can only have one of any variant of the same mech, and it's limited to 2 of the same chassis, you can have 2 identical penetrators, no problem. Now, mind you, in one of the rec guides, there's a brand new penetrator, which has re-engineered lasers, and it's way better. But that's for the podcast. That is not for the videos. So, what are my thoughts on the Hansens Roughriders box? Well, here's what I think. I don't think the Hatchetman is the best of the jumpers. I think they need to do something about the corner-facing mechs, because I'm going to have to make it face the right direction. And I think the reason they did it was because of how long its stride is, and they wanted to be, make sure it wasn't off the base. But come on, Catalyst. Your rules specifically say we need to have a facing, and that mech literally has no facing. Anyway, until next time, this is Carrie. Like I said, I do want to thank our sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games, for helping us get these so that we could review them for you. Also, if you like what we're doing and you want to help support us, go ahead and check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Unicorn Company. And we have multiple tiers. So it's always awesome when we have people who help support us. I do try to get our rewards out as quickly as possible. Also, I do try to engage the community with polls and such stuff like that. Not the best at it, I admit it, but I'm getting better every day. And of course, it's people like you who help make these videos, who help make the podcast possible. So to those of you who are already supporting me, thank you very much. And for those of you who want to help support what we do, go ahead and check us out. Like I said, patreon.com/unicorn company. And also check out our sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games. They are great people with a lot of stuff that you will find very useful for your BattleTech games. So until next time, this is Carrie.
I'm gonna find my meaning, I can make a change. I wanna play the game. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna